Hi there, this is Gist Nigeria. Coming up on the program. Communities under siege. Residents speak out as battle for supremacy between rival cult groups threatens their peace. And dancing to fortune. Children from Lagos slum visit 10 countries with their unique artistic expressions. Plus,
my name's Jesse Wuji. I'm a U.S. Naval officer and NASCAR driver. Check me out.
The professional race driver and Navy Reserve officer doing Nigeria proud in the United States. Welcome to Gist Nigeria from the BBC and Channels TV, where we bring you stories making the rounds on social media. I'm Ajoke Holotsi. Let's start with our top story. Before now, cultism used to be a problem among students on Nigerian campuses. Today, it has moved to the streets of many cities. Gist Nigeria's investigations reveal that membership has now been extended to uneducated youth and underage children. In this report, we visited a few Lagos communities. One of them, notorious for intercult clashes, spoke to cultists and former cultists to unmask the motivation behind their actions and explored stories of families who have lost their loved ones.
Serene, safe and secure are words a first-time visitor might use to describe Imota, a mostly traditional community in Lagos, southwest Nigeria. Alas, residents, many of whom spoke on conditions of anonymity, say it's nothing more than a thinly veiled smoke screen. Underneath the quiet and sanity is a raging and deafening loud monster. Its primary target, young Nigerians seen by many local and international agencies as the country's future. Cultism and cult clashes have for a long time been limited to higher institutions and campuses across Nigeria. Rival cult groups and gangs constantly battle for supremacy and territory with devastating effect. This war of attrition has now boiled over, spilled to streets and towns across the country, and snowballed into a crazed beast ravaging communities. This new form of homegrown cultism is fueled by members who mostly are artisans and uneducated young people, not students of tertiary institutions. Residents describe Imota as one of the epicenters of this new form of cultism in Lagos. They say families here have been shattered, businesses battered, and quality of life left in tatters. This man, whose identity we've concealed for his safety, lost a brother, a cultist, to a rival gang.
He left his office and went home to get food. They had been trailing him. When he stepped out of his house, he was double-crossed and gunned down. It happened around noon.
It's the same tale of woe for this civil servant who once witnessed how deadly these groups can be. We have also hidden his identity to protect him.
I heard a gunshot. Someone was killed. The police came a few minutes later, shot in the head while people ran to safety.
In South Nigeria, Port Harcourt, the River State capital, is one of the battlegrounds for the rival cult groups. Several lives have been lost as joining a cult group is now a no-brainer for many young people there. This young man was handed the short end of the stick when the dust settled after one of such clashes. We have made him anonymous for his safety.
It was after he was killed we found out that he was in a cult. We had no idea previously. So after we had heard about and confirmed his death, that's when we started piecing old memories together and thinking about things he had done at certain points in time. And, realizing that, he did this probably because, there was one time that the police came to pick him up at home for something. We realized that we started to connect the dots.
In northern Nigerian communities, activities of cult groups and cult clashes are almost non-existent. This man, who is still an active member of one of the fraternities, says the reasons for the wildfire spread of cultism in the south are not far-fetched. He explains how and why new members are recruited. We have also hidden his identity for safety reasons.
They were graduates, people who left school, they came to work and everything. And from there, they started having unnecessary enmities on the street, people who know their history and people who still want to hunt them down, even after they've left school. So they needed to create a kind of external support. So that was what brought cultism to the street. And that is, I remember where I grew up, as far back as 93, people who left school, who were expelled from school due to the fact that they were a member of a fraternity, came back to the street and started replicating, recruiting people to join them, just to flaunt membership and strength. So that thing grew to what it is today. So it has become a menace and it's somehow uncontrollable.
So over the years, we've now seen this set of people now, rising through the ranks of such groups and now taking control, thereby establish several such, community-based cult groups into different communities.
Gist Nigeria's investigations show that some of the cult clashes in Lagos State are oftentimes perpetrated by youths who then escape into neighboring communities like Emure in Ogun State. After causing chaos, they disappear into the largely under-policed adjoining forest areas and towns, only to resurface later. The interconnectivity of these towns, meant to be a blessing, has now given birth to a hydra-headed monster.
Umota is in the middle and is the most urbanized around the community here. You have Emunede, you have Adamo, you have Isiu, you have Berigbe, you have Odelemo. Those ones are in Ogun State. So many communities like that in Ogun State. All these communities has inroad. They have roads that links Imota to them.
There are two main groups that we have identified. This Aye and Aye group. What killings we are experiencing now is that of reprisal something. They don't stay in Imota. This is what people do. They come from the periphery, from other towns and villages in Ogun State. It is where they want to attack the country, Imota. They don't live there.
There is no way some criminal who didn't know the terrain of the place will come and commit to carry out criminal activities in a particular place without having an insider. If all of them are not living in their domain, some of them are living there.
Udo Ayondelu is a neighboring town to Imota. The traditional ruler here has been able to stem the tide of cult clashes in his community. He tells Gist Nigeria that politicians, police officers, and some traditional leaders are oftentimes in cahoots with the cult groups. He says this is why the ranks of these confraternities keep swelling.
Most of these politicians use those boys to achieve their aims. And that's why they tell you they have Godfather. And truly, before you know it, when they get them arrested now, in the next 1 day or 2 days, they are already off the hook. And some of the police, they are culprits of all this thing that is happening. Before those police come arrest, they've already called those boys. They are coming, and they will run away. Of recent, something of that nature happened. They left their station before they get there. They've called those boys. Some of the boys told me.
No police officer that what is calling that we will now go, we descend so low to go and reveal the operational strategies of his command or of his station to hoodlums because they want to please them. Anybody that is caught doing that will not only be dismissed, such person will be charged to court.
They say that police give information when it's not that complete, but I am telling you from my own personal experience as a police police commander, we have not had any such case.
It's issued by local government chairmen. Our local government structures are giving contracts of tax to criminal gangs in community to collect tax on behalf of local government. This is encouraging more young people to leave school and join these groups because they get daily reward.
I've been hearing about such stories, but here in Imota, I have never seen any politician here that does that. Not even me.
No, Tony.
It is true that children of some chiefs are cultists, but the chiefs have signed agreements with the police that they should kill these children on sight. I even had to sack some of the chiefs when it came to a head.
Oka was an active cult member for more than 5 years when in school. He rose to the apex rank of the confraternity in Port Harcourt. He has renounced his membership and once ran an NGO combating cultism. He tells us repentant cult members may be caught in a vicious circle even after leaving.
You can leave, you can walk away. And if you want to walk away, make sure you're not holding their materials. Or if they have their money, if you're their money keeper and you're with their money, you give them back their money and leave.
This man in his 40s was also an active cult member in Port Harcourt. He tells us the scale of the problem in Rivers State. His identity has been hidden for fear of reprisals.
Before now, you see kids aspiring to become professors, aspiring to become engineers and all that. But now you just turn around and you see that one motopark tout is is having all the money in the world because he has followers that can cause mayhem. One political talk there is the one everybody is respecting. Our social conscious space has been eroded.
We're still contending with pockets of court clashes, here and there, especially in those fringe communities in the state. And we will not relent. We are still doing our best to ensure that we plead sensitively with it and then see that they are exterminated.
The Lagos State government recently signed a law that stipulates a 21-year prison sentence on convicted cultists and 15 years for those found guilty of abetting cultism. The police have since arraigned 60 suspected cultists using the new law. But experts and stakeholders say more needs to be done across the country.
We need better policing on all levels, starting from the grassroots, that's from the ward, the communities, the local governments, the states, and of course, federal police. We need all the policing structures to be in place so that when crime, we can not just be reactionary with crime, we can actually nip it.
Nigerian constitution needs a lot of amendment. You find somebody now, you saw him with gun. Somebody was brought here some time ago with gun and bullet. They are 5 in numbers. They took them to Ogun State. Before we know it, they were already on the street again. So don't you see that the life of that Oba or the people that arrested them are in danger?
It's quite even easier to curb the campus group. And if you curb the campus groups, you curb those in the society to a large, those in the streets to a large extent, because most of them took the inspiration from the campus cult groups.
Nigeria's security apparatus is already overstretched in the wake of security challenges like terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping for ransom. But the menace of community-grown cultism is now threatening the very heart of Nigeria's prosperity and development: young people. Residents of Imota say that until recently, at least one young person is murdered in a ping-pong of violence between 2 dominant cult groups every other week. To defeat and root out this cankerworm, all hands must be on deck, from communities like Imota to governments across all levels throughout the country, especially in states with the highest menace of cultism.
Incessant court clashes and government's attempt to curb them. Share your thoughts with us on our Twitter handle at Gist Nigeria TV. We'll be glad to read from you. Still to come on Gist Nigeria. We meet a group of children who have danced their way from the slums of Bariga in Lagos State to more than 75 European cities. We'll bring you that story and more after the break. Stay with us.